Hello, lovely. Welcome to Module 5. I'm super excited to get into this. We're going to go in a little bit deep, and I'm going to be teaching and showing you some bits and bobs to be helping you on the next phase of your journey. So, this module is all about credibility and building credibility. And in actual fact, this is probably one of the most important modules there are, and we're heavily talking about mindset because a lot of the time we have what we need in order to go out there and do what we want to do, but we don't often feel like we're credible, or that we've got enough information, or that we know enough, and we're doing stuff. You're out there, you're stepping into your business, you're doing things. But in this module, what I really want you to take away is just how amazing you are, and how much ability you have, how credible you are, right? And this process is the quality of being trusted and believed in. And most importantly, it's trusting yourself and believing in yourself. So we're going to dive into this. I want you to get super comfy. I want you to get super focused, and let's go. So we're going to be teaching yourself, I'm going to be teaching you about the authority and power you hold, establishing your authority. Whether you have a business or are building one, you have experiences people can learn from, and gathering evidence, confidence, and content. So there's going to be stuff in here that's going to help you build out more of your content. And I know later on in the program, you're going to get to in-depth content building. But if you are moving in your business already, you're going to be posting up content, and this is going to help and stimulate that. So I want you to pay attention to that and what comes up as well. And the process of gathering this evidence for your badass boss self. So let's do this. You are in the power position. You get to see yourself as the expert in your business from now. Doesn't matter whether you've gone out and you've got one client, 5 clients, or no clients. You're the expert in what it is that you're bringing to the table, because this is your superpower. Remember, nobody else can do this. Nobody else can do this like you. You are the expert in your position. So let's just talk about M&M. If you went through the membership, you would have heard me speak about this process of M&M and 8 Mile. And this is something that really, at the start of my business, I took on board. And I remember watching 8 Mile for the second time, and I was like, that's it right there, right? He's got the right idea. So the gist of this is that Eminem goes into this last battle. If you haven't seen 8 Mile, watch it. But he goes into this last battle against an opponent that he has lost to before, right? And the opponent says to him, well, you go first. You throw out your lyrics first. And so Eminem does that. He begins to spit his bars first. And what he does is he uses the mess of his life. His entire life is a mess. And we've been watching this throughout this whole, 90 minutes to 2-hour film. We've seen his life be a mess. We've seen his relationship be a mess. We've seen his mum be a mess. We've seen his job be a mess. His money, everything is a mess apart from his gift, which is his voice, which is his words, which is his message. And he uses that mess in his message, and he essentially beats his opponent. So much so that the opponent is stuck for words and has nothing to say. No comeback, right? Imagine if you were to use that out there. There are enemies of life and people and all those things that are out there. But your message is your power statement. Your message is the thing that attracts the right people to you. And the reality is that you only have to be one step ahead of your clients. You only have to be one short step ahead of them to guide them and teach them. And as you walk through, you're going to grow. You're going to expand, Candid moment. This program is a 3.0 to one that I started when I started my business. Okay. I've upgraded it. I've added to it, and I continue to add to it. I continue to shift it and change it. Why? Because I grow, and as I grow, my business grows. Okay. And so you get to do the same thing. And when you understand the message in your mess, those who need you will find you. So there is a message in the mess around you that gets to be a beautiful picture of authority and expertise and help to others, aid, encouragement, empowerment. Like, you had that, hold that, you've got the key. What are the experiences that you have overcome in your life that others can relate to? There are going to be things that you might think are minor, that are small, but they are powerful experiences that others need to hear in order to move forward into their bigness, their dreams, or to learn what it is that you can teach. What methods of communication are you used to using to connect to your audience? So whether that's social media and you speak on camera, or you use quotes, I just want you to have a little play with that. Like, write those things down. What are the current methods of communication that you're using? Because we want to understand what our people are resonating with and what it is that we are using. And sometimes we don't stop enough to think about what it is that we're doing. We're just so on autopilot about doing it. Are there any others that you'd like to try to connect with them? So have you considered going live more? Have you considered a podcast? Have you considered these other areas that you may not have yet? This is just a big pot of stuff that you get to write down and put together. This isn't saying that we're going to go out there and do it tomorrow, but there may be encouragement in it. There may be creative thinking that happens out of it, and that inspires you for moving forward. So people buy from who they trust. People trust who they know. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate of using your voice and your message, because when you speak out your message, when you're sharing your story, people resonate with that. People get to know who you are, and people lean into that. People buy from people. So they buy from who they trust, and they trust who they know. Are there any experiences you have shared that you've been surprised that your audience have related to? So have you gone out there and shared a story and you're like, oh, they resonated with that, right? You may have just shared it once. Is there something that has come up? Have you been in a conversation with someone and you've shared something and they have resonated with that? What have you not shared that they would be able to relate to? There may be something that you have on your heart or have on your mind and you want to share this story, but you're not sure that they'll relate to, or maybe they'll relate to it, but you feel a little bit afraid. Write those things down. Why have you not shared these things? So just be radically honest with yourself. Remember, no one's going to see this information unless you want to share it in the Telegram group with me, right? And the other ladies. But why have you not shared those things? What is it that has stopped you from being open and putting those stories out there? What would happen in your business if you did share them? How would it change your business? How would it expand your business? Who would it bring into your business? What would happen in yourself if you did share them? So what would come up for you? What would you release? What would you let go of? What would you hold on to? Just have a little dig. Remember to pause the video when you're ready and just go through that process. How would they affect how people relate to you? So if you shared those stories, how would it change how people relate to you in your business, in your life, in your world? What might happen? In what ways could you share these things? So if you were going to, this is not saying that you should go out there and share them, but this might be bringing up something to you that actually there's this story and this thing that happened and I do want to share it. And actually, I don't want to share it through a quote. I want to share it through a piece of live content, or I want to share it through a piece of recorded content. So just allow yourself to go into that just a little bit more. In what ways could you share these stories with people? What are some of the things people have said about how you have helped them? So this is a really powerful exercise and task to go through. So think on things that have come up with people that you have spoken to. Now, this could be past clients, this could be friends, this could be family, it doesn't matter where it's come from. I want you to get clear on some of the things that people have said to you and how you have helped them. What are the words that have come up? Now, I really want you to go into writing down a list of those things. They could be the most smallest to the biggest, okay? Writing out the list of things that people have said to you. Get meticulous. And this should take you a little bit of time. So whether you need to go back through text messages, whether you need to go back through emails, whatever it is, WhatsApp, wherever you're communicating with people or remembering those conversations, I want you to really write them down word for word, because this, my darling, makes you credible. And this is also language that you get to use in your content when you move forward. What would you say you are an expert in? What would you say that you are an expert in? Write those things down. And if this is hard for you, go back to that list of what the things that the people have said that you've helped them with, and see if there are any patterns. Is there a consistent thread and a consistent chain that you keep helping people in this one area that probably makes you a bit of an expert, sweetheart? Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about expert mindset and how we really grasp that. So many business owners are trying to get people to buy their services, right? They're waiting for people's yes. They want people to say yes to their services. But I want to pose a reframing to change up how we are looking at this. It's not about just getting people to say yes to the services that we've got and that we're putting out there and we want people to buy. We want to reframe that and we want to pull that back in, because you are here to serve people. When you see yourself as an expert, you get to ask also, who will buy from me and who do I want to work with? Okay, who will buy from me and who do I want to work with? Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to come into your sphere and buy from you? Right? Because you could have a load of people that buy from you in one area of this, and they're not necessarily the right people or the people that you want to work with. But when you show up as an expert, when you show yourself as an expert, the people who buy from you are going to be looking for expert quality. They're going to be looking for the person who's the top tier in this area. Okay, so we want to go into this place of, who do you want to work with? So look for the people who see value in what you have. This is huge when it comes to you stepping out in your business. We don't want people who don't see value. We want people who understand the value of what we have. When people don't understand the value of what you have, they're asking for lower prices. They're asking for all of this help on lower money, right? We want to come with this luxury. When you're an expert, you come from a luxury standpoint. Imagine Louis Vuitton turning around and saying, someone's come into the store and the bag costs $3,000 and somebody says, well, I've only got 1,000. Can you just knock that off? Louis Vuitton is not going to turn around and say yes. Why are you any different? Now, you might argue that you're a person and you've got these services and you're not Louis Vuitton and you're not luxury. But when you see yourself as an expert, you automatically bring yourself to luxurious status and you do not need to drop your rates. When someone is willing to pay full value for full value, both parties win. They're going to receive full value from you and you're going to get full value from them. And that's where we want to put ourselves. When we know our value, when we understand that we are credible in an area based upon our experiences, our skills, our talents, what we have gone through, what we are walking through, it automatically changes the way that we show up. And therefore, we're going to give full value. And out of that, we want to receive full value from that. We don't want to drop our prices to appease people. We want to make sure that we're setting our brand as a tone of expertise. So I want you to get super clear and super grounded in who you want to work with. Who are the people in your world or out of your world? Let's even think bigger than that you want to work with. Now, I know you've done your avatar doc. I know that you've got clear on your ideal client, and there may be something in this process that tweaks this just a little bit for you. Because if you were being radically honest with yourself, who would you be working with? What are the types of people? And I want to give you just a little backstory here. For a long time, there are certain keys of areas, especially in my high ticket offers, where I've wanted to work with a more niched creative woman. Okay. And that may be a woman who is borderline celebrity, but maybe not in the forefront. She may not be known, but her work is known. Okay. And so I started to dwell on this. I started to dwell on that because those are the people that I want to work with when it comes to a lot of my one-on-one clients. It doesn't mean I work with people who are not in that area, but I wanted to have more of a niched woman coming in from that space. Lo and behold, I was able to bring in a client that fit the exact brief. When I got clear on it, the exact brief, and more those women begin showing up in my life. And so the breakdown of that with that client, she is somebody who writes for a very famous girl band. She writes music and writes songs for them. Okay. And she also has a realm of offers where she helps people write songs and she goes out and makes shows. And so it was incredibly niche to what I wanted. And it's asking this question of who I want to work with. And so it's all well and good. You're going to attract people who are fitting and that you can work with and that you might enjoy working with. But you may get to this point where you're like, I really want to work with this specific niche. I'm challenging you from this point to get clear on that. So dig in, dive in, go back through this if you need to, and head into the Telegram group and let me know what comes up for you so that I can support you in moving forward.